Hello friends. So today we will learn about serialization. Serialization is the feature in Java to save the state of an object into a file. Okay. So suppose you are running your Java application. As we have already talked about, when the application run, it takes some fixed amount of memory. For example, if we say it is taking 512 MB of memory. Okay. So there will be some stacks inside this memory and there will be a big heap. There will be some other things as well, but stack and heap are the main things. Okay. And now suppose you create an employee object. Okay. So you write employee e1 is equal to new employee. Okay. And you have created this object. Now you shut down your Java application. So when you create this object gets created on the heap. Okay. And now suppose if you shut down your application, this complete 512 MB will go away and there will be nothing left. And now if you again restart your application, if you want the employee object, you will have to create a new employee object and you have to set all the properties and values as you had set it up earlier. But anything from the previous memory will not be available. Okay. So you can do one thing. Java provides a feature of serialization where before stopping your application, before you are going to stop it, you can do one thing. You can save the state of this object to a external file. Okay. You can save the state of this object to a external memory which is not part of the Java memory. Okay. In this way, when you stop this application and you restart your application, you can read this external file and load it into the memory. Instead of creating the object again, you can save the state of our object to external file, and whenever you restart your application or within the same application, whenever, you can save the state of the object to a file and read it from a file. This process of saving the state is called serialization, and the process of retrieving the state and creating an object from a file, not using the constructor, from a file, it is called deserialization. Okay. So it is very useful when you are trying to transfer some information from one Java application to another. How will it go? Inside application, you have the heap, you have the object. But if you want to send this to a heap of another Java application, how can you do that? You can serialize the state of the object to a file, send the file to the other Java application, and it will deserialize the file and it will get that object. So this is how you can send objects between two Java applications. Okay. So it is a very useful feature. To serialize any class, you have to implement the serializable interface. Okay. So here class employee will implement the serializable interface. This is a marker interface. It has no methods. It has no methods. It is a marker interface. What is a marker interface? A marker interface symbolizes to the Java JDK that this class is special. It is a special class. It can be saved to a file and it can be retrieved from a file. If you don't implement this serializable, then you cannot save it to a file and retrieve it from a file. If you want to do this, you have to implement this serializable interface. It has no methods. It doesn't force you to override any method. But yes, when you implement this interface, then only you can serialize the file and deserialize the file. Now let's see a code example for this. So in this code we can see, so this is our employee class and we have marked it as serializable. And because we have marked it as serializable, now the compiler knows that it can save this state of this class to a file and then read it from a file. Okay. So there are three properties here: name, ID, and password. Okay. Now there is a keyword in Java which is transient. So whenever you mark any property with transient, it will not get involved in the serialization process. Which means when you will serialize this employee object, name will get serialized, ID will get serialized, but password will not get serialized because you have marked it at transient. Okay. So it will not be involved in the serialization process. In other words, it will skip the serialization process. Okay. So name and ID will get serialized, but password will not get serialized. Okay, I've simply implemented the toString method. Now let's try to serialize it. Okay, so this is the code. Here at line number 9 I am creating this object. Okay, so I'm passing the name as Alice, ID as 101, and password as secret 123. Now at line number 11 I am creating a file output stream. What is a file output stream we will learn in the next chapters, but for now you can only understand that it is a mechanism to read and write files. Okay, so we have given a name of the file employee.sir. Let me delete this file. Okay, so we can give any name that we want. Here I have given employee.sir. You can give any name, and then using output stream we are writing the state of this object into this output stream, and it eventually gets written in this file. Okay, so if I debug this code, you see the employee object is created and see the values alice 101 and secret 123. Now as soon as line number 13 is executed, we will see that we get a employee.sir file created here. Okay, you will not be able to understand anything that is written in this file because it is written in machine language code, but this file is created. Now our Java application has stopped. Everything heap, stack, everything has stopped. But this file is present. Okay. So now if we want to create an object using the deserialization process, let's try to see that. Here, you can see that we are the employee reference is null. We are reading this file employee.sir. What is input stream, what is output stream, we will cover in the upcoming chapters. For now you can only understand that it is a mechanism to read and write from external files into Java. Okay, so at line number 13 we are calling output stream.read object. Basically it will read this file and it will create this employee object. Let's see whether it is able to do so or not. If we hover over this, we can see our object is created. So in this course, never before you would have seen that we are creating an object without calling the constructor. In fact, it is an interview question. Can you create an object without calling the constructor? Yes. Using deserialization, you can create an object. Okay. So we can see that our object is created here, and we never wrote alice or 101 in this file anywhere. How is it able to get this? Because it is able to get these values from the file that you have saved. Okay, so we can see that object is getting created. Password is null because we have marked password as transient. It will neither get serialized neither get deserialized. Okay, but other things like name and ID were getting serialized and were getting deserialized. So this is the process of serialization in Java. It is used at many places. The common use case is when you are sending your objects or request objects to a messaging queue. So it is getting serialized and then getting as a file and then getting sent. Or in simple words, you can understand if you want to share your objects between two Java applications, you can serialize and the other one can deserialize. Okay, so this is the serialization and deserialization process. One important thing to note is that we have taken here one private static file in long variable which is called serial version UID. Okay, so this is kind of used for version control in serialization. Suppose you serialize this employee object into a file and then you modified the employee object. Okay, and then you are trying to deserialize it. So the common coding convention is whenever you modify a serializable class, you should update the serial version UID. Okay. So in that case, what will happen is when you try to deserialize, JVM will check the serial version UID. And if it doesn't matches, it will give you an exception. Okay. And if it matches, it will serialize happily. Okay. So we can check this as well. This file is serialized using the serial version 1L. Let's make it 2L, and now let's try to deserialize. So we can see that we are getting an exception, invalid cast exception. Okay, and if you see the detail message, it is saying incompatible streams. While serializing, the serial version UID was 1, and while deserializing it is 2, so it will not allow the deserialization. So this is a mechanism for version control. If you don't want to use this mechanism, you can remove this property, or you can even keep it unupdated. but it is used for version control, so that you deserialize using the same class which you had used to serialize. And if you change anything in this class, you change the serial version UID, so that old objects are not allowed to be deserialized. It is up to you if you want to use it or not, but this is a convention which is being developed, so it is beneficial to use it. Okay, so this is about serialization. In the coming chapters we will learn about input streams, output streams, and other things. All the best and keep learning.